Good morning. It's EXPCon 2022 week. If you're already there and enjoying the fun, thanks for sticking around for an hour to hear about what I'd like to do today is create some thoughts regarding some ideas, tips, techniques, and tracks to get your attitude together. My name is Wayne. Welcome to my world. Much of what I'm going to do today is a series of things I've done over many, many years, several decades, sharing some positive ideas, positive thoughts, and we're going to build a stairway to excellence. Because I believe, and I hope you believe, there's no such thing as perfection. It's a goal, but never demand perfection. Just expect excellence. If nothing else, be amazing. People love amazing people. You don't have to be perfect. Enjoy your week, whether you're at home or in Las Vegas. In the meantime, as I said, I'm glad you're in my world. With that said, I have a goal today. We all need to be persuaded to change, to adapt. And so my goal in the next hour or so is to fan your persuasion flame to such an intensity that the hot water of mediocrity inside of you is converted into the steam of outstanding success. We'll talk more about that success process in weeks to come. With that said, you have to realize we are in a world of choices, chances, and changes. And every one of you, every week as you set your business plan, as you set your goals, make decisions, choices. In fact, your life is a choice. If you don't believe that, look at the word life, L-I-F-E. Half of the word life is if. If I do this, I can't do that. If I do here, I can't go there. If I'm here, I'm there. Whatever. You always make if decisions. Hopefully, at the end of a day, you analyze your life and say, I made some great if decisions. If not, we got to make better if decisions next day. But if decisions are choices. And some of those are chances. They're risks. And some of you are more risk takers than others. Some people are very conservative. Some are very liberal. I believe that's a guts gauge. I think we all have a different level of how our guts gauge works. Will you take a big risk or are you much more comfortable not taking big risks? But either way, your life changes. If you decide not to do something, that's a choice not to do something. You made a choice. I have no problem with that. It just seems without making good, solid if decisions, taking chances and making the right choices, you can't move forward in life. So obviously, getting knocked down in life is a given. Getting up and moving forward is a choice. No one ever drowned. No one ever drowned in the history of swimming and boating because they fell in the water. They drowned because they didn't get out. You'll notice Zig Ziglar gave me this quote. Many of you know already from being with me weekly, he is one of my motivational mentors. A tremendous asset to me building my speaking career and understanding life. Many of you probably follow many of his videos. Maybe you own a bunch of his tapes or cassettes or VCRs or whatever else, discs, whatever. But the point is, there's a lot to be said. So today's a new day. It's a new week. You can take a look at it because it's a fresh start. Whatever happened last week is history. The past is history. Yes, the future is a mystery, but today is a gift. That's why it's called the present. Embrace it. Be compassionate. Stand up for what you believe. Find a new friend. Ask for help. Offer hope. Listen with your whole heart. Listen with your whole heart. And the best way to listen is right in the word listen. Rearrange those letters, and it's S-I-L-E-N-T, silent. Silence is golden if you want to learn and if you want to hear what people feel, not what they say. See, listen for their feelings, not what they say. The thinking brain is not nearly as powerful as the feeling brain. In fact, Might be better every day to limit the word think. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? Never will you get the same response, my friends. In the same way, if you say, how do you feel about that? What's your feeling? Love well, work for a common goal and common good, and basically be the change agent, not only for yourself, but for other people. My hope is that every time we're here on Monday to kick off a great week of amazing, powerful presenters from the Culhane Group, that I just start the week off right for you. I'm kind of like the opening act, and the rest of the players are there just waiting to share even more. And boy, by the end of the week, do you have information. So, as you move forward, found a little story about your choices. There's a battle between evil and good. And sometimes people do things that are not good, and maybe they're not that bad. Maybe they're even worse than they're evil. But you can see some of the words. Anger. Don't be angry at people. Fight fair. Don't be jealous. Don't be greedy. We get by giving. Embrace people doing better than you. I would love to keep talking to people that are better than me. I can learn from them. And we'll talk about honesty later this morning. And we'll talk about your ego. Your id, your ego, and your superego are very elements in your brain. But then let's look at the good things. The joy, the peace, the love, the kindness, the empathy, and honesty. And as the boy was talking to his Cherokee grandfather, he asked, which wolf wins? And how simple it sounds. The one that you feed. Are you feeding today, this week, this month, the rest of the year, more evil than more good? Gosh, I know that answer is obvious to people right here. I'm talking to the choir. But we have to reflect on the fact that some people look at things in the negative, in the evil way, versus the positive or good way. So keep that in the back of your mind as we move forward today and looking at some things. And we'll talk about fear. I mean, I hope your name means fearless, when you're willing to take risks, when you overcome dilemmas. I turned fear into power many years ago with a fellow professional speaker named Tony Robbins. I did the fire walk twice to turn my fear into power. And you can watch many YouTube videos. It wasn't that long ago, Oprah finally believed that that was a possibility, not just a bunch of smoke and mirrors. And you can watch her go through the fire walk and the frustrations and the fears she had and the evil she was thinking. And all of a sudden it became good. So I hope you, as fearless as me, are even more fearless, because fear is an interesting concept. Many people get locked in their mind, a negative mindset of fear. And you've heard many different definitions, acronyms, phrases for fear. This is the one that I find the best over a period of time. Fear is nothing more than false evidence appearing real. And one of our greatest presidents, John F. Kennedy, back in the 60s, said there's nothing to fear but fear itself. Many times, fear causes worry, and worry causes anxiety, and anxiety causes depression, and depression causes all kinds of problems. In many cases, terminal problems. So I guess what I'm saying is be a person who can be fearless and realize many times what you're thinking about is never going to happen. You've got false evidence in your mind, and it creates a reality that's not there. Many of you worry about things that will never happen. If you could worry and have success in stopping something, I'd say worry till your heart's content. But I personally have never worried and found out my worrying caused it to change for the positive. It brought me down. It hurt me from growing. Hopefully that mindset is in your head. Be fearless. Look at things in a positive way. Is the glass half full, or is the glass half empty? Or better yet, maybe you just need a smaller glass and it'll be full. See, sometimes your glass is too big And that's where the dilemma of half full, half empty come in. Just take a smaller glass. Success by the inch is a cinch. Short-term goals. Success by the yard is very hard. Almost a year ago, you all probably put together a business plan. You were all excited on January 1st. Some of you started in December. You were so excited. And you just need to do 1/12 of what you wanted to do every month. And here it is, 9.5 months later, almost full 10 months. And you're way behind in some cases, or you're way ahead in some cases. If you're ahead, great. Now you'll set records and blow past 2022 and jump into 2023. If you're behind, don't give up and quit. Oh, it's already October. I'll wait till next year. No, just say, I'm going to kick it up a notch. I'm going to have a miracle month. I'm going to have a miracle 2 months. But it is a bit more difficult if you try to get everything you didn't do done in 2 months when you had 10 to do it. So please realize that by putting fear into this, the last 2 months could be a blow off and give up. You've got to learn to be a lousy loser. See, if you're a good loser, say, oh, no problem. I was good enough. I worked hard. I had this. All the excuses. It's easier to make excuses than to make goals in real estate. It's easier to make excuses than to make goals in real estate, probably in life. So avoid the fear and say, what can I do in this miracle month of November and even a stronger December? What a great time to show houses. My gosh, clutter is okay. People are cooking for the holidays, getting ready for Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. Your home looks more lived in, and you can get away with some of the clutter because it's the holidays. Plus, you have serious buyers. Overcome the fear. Overcome the fear. Realize that by just looking at your goals and working on them and not worrying, life moves on. But do the thing you fear the most, i.e. could be prospecting, maybe all this week, even though you are at XPCon or someplace else, get up early and make some calls. If you're in Las Vegas right now, it's 2 hours earlier than it is on the central part of the country and 3 hours from the eastern part. If you're there from New York and it's 9 o'clock, it's noon, you could make some cold calls on the phone. Do some reverse prospecting. Talk to a past client. You got some time to do things so that you can continue to still enjoy what you're doing, but also get some work done. See, the key is don't let fear get you, you get the fear. The quickest way and surest way ever to be discovered to conquer fear is do the thing you fear the most. Get it out of the way. Powerful concept. So let's leave that alone for a while. Just realize your goal should be fearless. Take the risks. We know a very basic economic principle. Risk equals reward. The greater the risk, the greater the reward. Let me suggest this. Let's turn the tail to like and trust. Once again, I can't avoid Zig's quotes. He's got so many, and they empowered me, and I'd like them to empower you. If I'm reminding you of what he said and you're underwhelmed so far, I apologize. But man, maybe you're overwhelmed. If people like you, they listen to you. If they trust you, they do business with you. 2 words there. Every single year when the National Association of Realtors does their profile of buyers and sellers, they do thousands of these people. You can read the reports. They're probably in your office on a manager's desk or in some file. Look at the profile of buyers and sellers from this year. Look what they said, the thousands of people, about whether they would use an agent, like an agent, felt good about an agent, what was their weaknesses, what was their strengths. And what do you find all the time? Other things being equal, the buyers and sellers said they would use their agent again because they liked and trusted them. 80% of the people choose an agent because they like them and trust them. So it's easy to be liked. You can bring bagels and donuts. You can meet them for lunch. You can drive them around. You can help them get qualified. You can help them get rid of the clutter. You got loads of ways to be liked. The question is, how do you become trusted? Trust is a very powerful emotion. We're going to see it today towards the end of our time together as you climb my stairway to excellence. It's the top step to become excellent. And I'm going to ask you a very, very burning question. So, with that mindset, realize we are in a business where every single one of us, every single person that's a member of the National Association of Realtors, 1.5 plus million, plus all the people that are licensed that are not members, all pretty much are using and selling the same inventory. So the key is, how do I pull myself out of the commodity market of all these people into the specialty market? Be liked and be trusted. Now, you can learn a lot of ways to be liked, but the best way to learn to be trusted is to start out with honesty. Never lie to somebody who trusts you, and never trust someone who lies to you. Will Rogers said it the best. Very simple philosophy. And boy, if you're like me, you have agents who violate this on a regular basis or every so often. But either way, they do it, and it comes back to bite them in the ankle. Will Rogers, many years ago, said this. Very simple. Always tell the truth. And you'll never have to remember what you said. So many stories from so many people. Today they said this, tomorrow they said that. We see it with politicians. We see it with all kinds of people, business people, but we see it in the real estate business too. People don't tell the truth, and they have to remember a lot of stuff, and they get caught in the trap. So if I wanted to build instant trust, and I've shared this with you before, it's the best way I know to find out how to do that and realize it. It's Stephen M.R. Covey's book, which is now becoming aged, so to speak, in terms of new books. The Speed of Trust. In the Speed of Trust. What a powerful way to read and find out how you can be trusted quickly and to take care of the myths and misconceptions about rebuilding trust. It can be done. It's not easy. It's not easy, but you got to work smarter, not harder in everything you do, especially when you've lost somebody's trust. What a concept. What a concept. The fact that you need to very simply understand the power of trust can be rebuilt. Trust can be rebuilt. Trust can be a way of becoming a better person in the eyes of other people, because 80% of the people you want to deal with will do business with you over and over again if they like and if they trust you. So you got to set a goal. A goal. In fact, we're getting ready to set a bunch of goals for 2023. And the title of this presentation, as I advertised it, was, if you think you need to see a psychiatrist, you ought to go bananas. I think going bananas is a goal. But going bananas in Wayne's world takes that word bananas and makes a nice, simple phrase. Before you need a psychiatrist, before you give up, B.A.N.A.N.A.S, build a new attitude now and succeed. It's sometimes up here. Business is never good or bad out there. Business is good or bad up here. See, we're going into a very long chunk of time. We're going to have inflation, and probably it looks like pretty tough recession based on the Fed's plans and based on what happened over the past, I would say, 18, 19 months. You can't put $1.9 trillion into the economy 18 months ago and not expect the results we have today. Another whole seminar. But that was a problem 18 months ago. And now we're sitting here watching what used to be 1% inflation, 1.6% inflation 18 months ago to over 8, almost 9%. And we'll see what happens with the September results soon. So your goal is to obviously build a new attitude now and succeed. But the goal itself has to be specific. What thing are you going to change? Best way to find that out is do that SWOT analysis from the Boston Consulting Group. What are your strengths? Those are good. What are your weaknesses? Let's try to eliminate a weakness. What are some opportunities you haven't looked at these days? What a great time to be buying real estate. I just finished working on an article, and I'm going to entitle it something simple. Always renters is a new group of people in the economy. They may be always renting because they can't afford, or do they have the down payment or the work record to buy a home without stretching themselves into a problem. I think you're going to see a group of people, always renters. We may see some right now that we call millennials who are still renting and trying to get into the housing market. And rents are rising. We've talked about buying 2 properties a year in Wayne's World. What a time to buy 3 or finish up the year with at least 2 more. You got 2 months, 1 a month. Find 1 income property in November, 1 in property in December, and look where you're going to be. Because we're going to be dealing with renters that are going to be always renters. They're a unique group of people. And if they buy a home later, at least they were in one of your rentals and you got a client. So this is a Go Banana seminar. There's supposed to be some fun, supposed to be some humor. This is my attempt to think about this in a different way. You know, psychiatrists are great people. I call them paid friends. If I don't have somebody I can talk to confidentially for free, my spouse, my partner, my sister, my brother, my best friend for years, a religious person, if I can't find one for free, you got to realize that you can't do this alone. That's why we have teams. That's why I'm a coach and a mentor, because I have people that are coachable and have people that want to be proteges. They realize that. You'll see a few quotes in my seminars from Michael Jordan, who I had the pleasure of knowing when he was playing for the Bulls and the coach lived next to me. Michael Jordan had a fitness coach. Tiger Woods has a golf coach. Smart people, people that want to succeed, people that are rock stars have coaches. Some have more than one coach, a nutrition coach, a life coach, an exercise coach. How many coaches in real estate do you have? How many coaches in life? Who's on your board of directors that's helping you grow? A coach, a mentor, whoever. And so, bottom line is, I feel we need psychiatrists as a paid friend if I can't get one for free. To go through life without talking to somebody and unloading so you don't blow up. Whatever you feel about that profession, please think seriously about the benefits of having someone you can spill your guts out to and they're not going to tell. And we know under their code of ethics and their oath, they will not tell. With that said, what have you been thinking so far? We've been in this for probably close to half hour. Are you interested to make some changes? Did I engage you in a few thoughts? Are you excited? Are you inspired? Is this good data? I mean, I just said something a while back that we started this financial mess we're in, call it inflation, 18 months ago when we had a $1.9 trillion spending bill. You can't put too much money out there and expect not to have inflation. And now with the Fed blowing the balloon up too fast to control it with interest rates, we're going to see a recession. I'll be covering that in some future weeks in my wealth building seminars. But do some reading and you'll see what I'm talking about. But you've got to leave here positive. Halfway through this, if you have to leave to go to a meeting or schedule something, you've got to be appreciative of the thoughts we shared and the creative mindset you should get by doing a few of these things. And above all, optimism always seems to win out over pessimism. I see something much different than somebody else sees. I'd rather shoot at the stars and miss than shoot at the ground and always hit. That's my optimism. And I set my goals, as I said, small goals. Success by the inch is a cinch. Little steps, but you're always moving forward. And one of my mentors taught me this. As you move forward, remember this. It's 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. That's an attitude, people. 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. Because we're going to have setbacks. But you know, a setback is oftentimes a setup for a comeback. One window closes, a new door opens. One door closes, you crawl through another window or go to another door. If the door doesn't open, that's not the right door. Find another door. Optimism is a powerful mindset that does something in your brain. So, as we say, there's no fast way to the top. There's no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. And you have to climb that stairway. And the higher you climb the stairway in real estate, the more you expose your rear end. Some people who want to be like you, who won't do what you do, won't take the risks you take, don't put the time in that you put in, won't follow up the way you do, they're a little bit envious, sometimes jealous, and sometimes they're looking to pull you down with them. Just keep moving forward, 3 steps forward, 2 steps back. You'll eventually get to the top of the stairs. So with that said, let's take a look at the stairway in more detail with the time we have left today. Right now, it's an empty stairway, and there's you at the bottom. And then there's something at the top you're looking for. Something at the top you're looking for. So I have learned through experience, through reading, through asking questions, that there are specific steps a person needs to take to be liked and trusted and get to the top. It's a strategy filled with different tactics. It builds on your strengths, and it gets rid of the threats in your life. So we'll look at these and talk about them a little bit at a time, not in detail. But there you are at the bottom, and you'll notice those 6 steps spell the word heart, even though it's misspelled. But once again, in Wayne's world, if you can't spell a word 2 ways, people, you're not flexible. I don't know where the I goes before the E, and if I even need the I. Receive, believe, conceive. I don't hear the I. Believe is B-E-L-E-V-E. My computer corrects it. If I say believe, they don't know how I'm spelling it. So heart's got 2 R's. Because if you go back and remember what I said earlier today about people not drowning, you'll know what that R is. So let's start at the bottom. You already heard the H. Will Rogers, quote, honesty. Always tell the truth. You'll never have to remember what you said. Honesty is the best policy. Most people get in trouble not because there's something wrong with them, they weren't honest about it. Martha Stewart went to jail not because she did what she did, it's because she wasn't honest to the FBI. Most people get in trouble because they don't admit they made a mistake. They lie. Honesty is the beginning process. If you're not an honest person or not perceived to be an honest person, it's going to be hard to be liked and trusted. And there are characteristics. The second step is enthusiasm. Wow, what a word. I took that word years ago and broke it up. I was doing some consulting. One of my first jobs many years ago was to help reorganize Estee Lauder Cosmetics national sales force. And I gave him a little speech after dinner as a keynote on enthusiasm. And as you know, I like to use acronyms like HEART, and we talked about bananas, etc. And I got many other ones, pride, trust, etc. The bottom line is, I looked at that word and I saw that it came from the Greek root word, entheos, means from God within. Now, I'm not here to talk about that. There's many people you can watch on TV. We just finished the Jewish holidays. Happy New Year, those of you that were celebrating. We're coming up on Christmas and Kwanzaa. So we have a lot of religious holidays. And so the people that have that religious part of their life have to realize that that's the basis for enthusiasm. Entheos. Literally means from God within. So forget that. Let's look at the word enthusiasm with the rest of the letters. IASM. Many of you have had a great year, had a great 2 years. Real estate being an essential service thanks to the National Association of Realtors and RPAC, allowing us to work. But think of the time when you had a listing, maybe a listing right now, or a buyer you're all excited about. Oh my God, you're telling everybody about that. This buyer came into town, cash buyer, this, that, these, those. That listing, it's the blah, 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 blah. You're so excited. You're enthusiastic. And it's because of the last 4 letters. IASM. I am sold myself. You know that listing, you'd like to move in. You'd like to take everybody through it. You tell everybody, you're showing that picture to everybody. You do more advertising on it. You're doing everything because you're sold yourself on this property. You're excited to present it. That buyer that you talk about that did this and did that, and they told you what they wanted, and they didn't change their mind, and they're not taking you for a ride. They're bona fide buyers. See, bona fide buyers and saleable sellers are people you're sold on. It's those lookers and those people testing the market that you wish you probably should have never started with. I'm a listing agent. I believe you list to last, you list to exist. Listings are the name of the game, always have been, always will be. Worse than no listing at all is an overpriced listing. Separate lookers from buyers. Wow, there's 2 thoughts that'll make the day. But then look at that 3rd step, my friends. This is the one that I guess is, I wouldn't say inherited, maybe ingrained, but you can learn it. We have something called positive mental attitude. I had the privilege and pleasure well over 45 years ago to learn from somebody whose name may not sound familiar to many of you, but others they might. His name was W. Clement Stone, a multimillionaire living in the Chicagoland area who found combined insurances and spent a lot of time with Earl Nightingale, whose motivational tapes became the topic of many successful conversations. And in talking to W. Clement Stone as a young boy, listening to his philosophies, told me to read Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich, told me about some other things I should be doing. He gave me a very simple definition of a goal. He said, Wayne, it's the self-realization of a dream or a goal. Dream big and achieve your goals. What a powerful concept a young boy could learn. And here I am, not as young of a boy, but still a kid at heart, remembering those words and realizing how they helped me go from there to here as I climbed my stairway. Because as simple as I can make it, with all the hundreds of thousands of quotes about attitude, it boils down to this in real estate. It's your attitude, not your aptitude, that determines your altitude. What a business. What a way to enjoy every 86,400 seconds of every single day, being in control of our time and our life. We all got 86,400 seconds today. We're getting close to half of them being used up. I'm taking roughly 3,600 seconds. I hope they're the best 3,600 seconds you could have used instead of doing something else, is being here. It's your attitude, not your aptitude, that determines your altitude. And wow, the R. The first R, no order of importance, but the first R is respect. You've got to earn respect. You've got to give respect. How many people would describe you as a person that respects other people? What do you do each day to show you respect other people? What things, what tactics, what thoughts do you share that shows you respect somebody? Listening is a sign of respect. If you're not listening, well, you don't respect the person talking. That's why this multitasking doesn't work with on the phone, eyes down, and somebody's talking to you. Eyeball to eyeball, face to face. Because you see, you have a lie detector inside your head. It's how your eyes move. It's called neuro-linguistic programming. I can tell when people aren't listening or aren't talking. Now, it's obvious if they got their eyes down looking at a phone or reading a book or doing something else, looking out the window. But even then, when they look at me, they're not always listening. And sometimes what they say proves they weren't listening. So respect is a powerful thing. I think we all could do a little bit more with a few more people every day. Just letting somebody walk ahead of you. Let somebody who's got less items in the grocery line jump ahead of you. They're carrying them in their arms. You got a basket. Let them put theirs down. Little things mean a lot. Some are considered chivalry. Some are considered kindness, gratitude, but respect people. Respect is critical. With that said, the other R is resiliency. We're back to my thoughts on people not drowning. Can you bounce back? Can you get up off the ground and start over? We've got thousands of stories of people that invented things after hundreds of thousands of failures, whether it's Thomas Edison with electricity, whether it's some inventor who took care of certain diseases with their medical discoveries. We have a lot of failures before we succeed. In fact, some of you know your failure rate. I've got to knock on 50 doors to get 3 appointments to get 1 listing. Somebody else says, I only got to knock on 35 doors to get 3 listings and 1 appointment. Somebody starting out says, I got 100 doors. We had to accept failure. Success is never final. Failure is never fatal. It's the resiliency that counts. Let me say that one more time. Success is never final. Failure is never fatal. It's the resiliency that counts. Are you resilient? How do you handle things? How do you handle death? Everybody has a grieving cycle. I just experienced that with a person I was together with for 47 years. And my grieving cycle was much different than some of my relatives and friends because I'm resilient. And resiliency is how fast you can bounce back, how fast you can forget what happened and move forward. It's not easy. It's not fun, but it's better than the alternative. And then the T. You know what the T is already. You know what the T is already. Stephen Covey's book got you thinking about it. It's trust. I don't know how it must feel. I have no one that's ever said this to me in my life. No one's ever said this to me, Wayne, I don't trust you. But I know people that I've had to say that to people. It's so hard when somebody's not trusted to win back the trust. But that's the beauty of even Stephen M.R. Covey's book. You can rebuild trust, but you also can help yourself get instant trust. Because once again, when you meet a buyer or seller for the first time at their door, in their home, when they come to your office, they got to like and trust you. They have to like and trust you. This is a powerful business. I don't know if it just happens because it comes natural to me. But I spent about 2 weeks ago driving out to a town I never was in my life to look at a property I might want to buy as an investment, because I'm focused like a laser beam on buying property because I see a potential in the next couple of years with inflation and always renters and the advantages of owning real estate. That's my life. So I went to look at it. When I got there, I realized it was in much better condition. It was a for sale by owner. Somebody gave me the name and number. I drove out. I also realized it's kind of far away. I don't want to be schlepping back and forth and checking things out. So my goal was to look at it and see what happens. But then I realized this thing is not going to be sold for the price I want to pay. In fact, I felt this way when I walked in and talked to the man. I'd be stealing from him. If I bought this at the price I wanted, so I said, I love your house, but I really feel it's not what I want in terms of price. You can get much more. What do you mean? I said, I just feel that I'd be embarrassing you. No, just tell me your price. Just tell me your price. I said, nah, it's okay. Don't worry about it. No, tell me your price. I said, I really feel uncomfortable because I believe you can sell this for 40 to 50,000 more than I would pay for it. Not giving him a number, just using that number. We got into a conversation. He said, a lot of people have called me, seeing if they could list my property. But you're one of the first people I talked to as a realtor that really I feel comfortable with. I built some instant trust. He said, would you list this for me? I went on a buying presentation. I had no intention of listing that property. But I said, well, let's talk. Put it on the market, priced it like I do to get activity. Day and a half later, we get an offer. We start negotiating, and we're at 11,000 over list. 55,000 more than I would have paid him. I would have been stealing from him. This was a win-win. A win for me, a win for him, a win for the agent who got the referral to have him buy a new house out of the area, all because I could be trusted. I built instant trust by leveling with them and not lying to them. So you have to make a decision in this business. Are you going to lie to people or level with people? Some people would like to hear the lie, but in the long run, you're better off if you level with them. So there we are. 6 steps from the bottom of the stairway to the top. 6 steps. And the question is, will you step up the stairs? There they are. Now, you got to have a skill set too. You got to know how to close in sales. You got to know how to offer trial closes and how to take care of paperwork and do other things. It's not just simply all attitude. It's not all honesty. I mean, we still got to get the job done. There's not one company in the United States of America that I've trained in or heard about that pays a commission on the sales you almost made. So we have to do some things. We have to do them on a regular basis. So here's my question to you. That burning question. Will you step up the stairs or stare up the steps? Will you step up the stairs or stare up the steps? It's not enough to stare up the steps. We must step up the stairs. And here's the stairs. You got to be an honest person from day one, from the moment you wake up every single day. You got to be sold yourself on what it is you're going after. A new buyer, a new listing, a new relationship, a new life. Hey, people, these are life thoughts, not just real estate thoughts. If you think you need to see a psychiatrist, you ought to go bananas. Build a new attitude now and succeed. Respect people. Do unto others as if you were others. And be resilient. Resiliency is a powerful mindset. And above all, be trusted. So I'm hoping you leave here today, and for the rest of the day, you stepped up the stairs. Something else, when you step up the stairs, you can see much better over everything else. You got a whole different view of life when you're at the top, looking down. Couple more quick thoughts. I'm glad you're in my world. I'll see you next week. But above all, take a moment to look at you in the mirror and see how you are made to succeed, because you're designed to succeed. You're engineered to exceed. Some of you stay up overnight sometime when you're excited, get up early when you're excited, and you made it through the day. You really pile a lot in. Some of you will be at EXPCon and you're going to be up all night talking to friends. You'll get up next morning in 2 hours of sleep and you're just fired up. So I'm glad you're on World. My goal is to see you next week in a new topic, and enjoy the rest of your week. We ended a bit early because I have a few things I have to do, but I think we gave you more than 60 minutes and 45 seconds. With that said, my best to you for the rest of the week.